All right, weekly technicals. All of those calls were good, spot on, bang on by last week.
Yep.
Did you keep track of?
Well done, man.
Did anyone place any positions based off those?
Got on the GJ.
You got on the GJ. What did you make out of last week? What percent?
I think I had a big position on. I had a BTC position, GJ and gold. I think in combined it was around. In risk to reward, it was around 1 to 25 risk to reward. So basically, if you risk 1%, you would make 25%.
Yeah, that's great. That's banging.
Yeah.
Oof, oof, oof. It's there's been a nice little drop, I think. I've started to average in on BTC. There was a load of news as well on Twitter, basically about some two indicators, these hash ribbons and something else about them indicating the bottom, or like I don't see the bottoms in. I'd like your opinion.
I think that's
as well.
BS. I think they are just gonna manipulate the retail traders and grab our liquidity.
Yeah, just another trap, just another trap.
Yeah.
But like 21 still a nice entry, I would say. We're developing a nice long-term support there. So yeah, I started averaging again, less volatility, buying up pretty much all of the same holdings. So I'm looking pretty optimistic. There's a lot of news as well, just from some of the network saying that Q4 is going to be a good Q. So let's check it out. Let's get moving.
All right. You're already on record. Okay. Let me start. All right, 1 second. Let me delete these. So we'll start with BTC again this week. So we have a one trading week left for our monthly candles to close. So by the looks of it, it seems that it's still inside this range of the previous monthly candle, right? Which is between 25 and 21. So it's between that range at the moment. So we have last week left for the candle to close. So let's look down in the weekly. Weekly is nice, clear break of structure. You see that? You see how the previous structure got broken here. And see the nice, even the trend line breaking, and we see a lot of bearish volume into the market. So we have a confirmation of break of structure on the weekly, on the daily as well. Obviously, we have a big break of structure. As we see, I have outlined that weekly structure break right over here. So, but on the daily, you see the structure breaking all the way up here. If you notice our last weekly call, I mentioned that the structure breaking here would make a big, nice probability to take shorts, and see how price broke down right there. So with this coming week, and after seeing this much of a big drop, and if you look at the the daily candle, look at the wicks, no wicks, right? That's a big Marubozu candle, right, from the previous day candle. So at the moment, I think price has a possibility of pulling up maybe to 23K around this area here, and might find resistance possible. So we have to wait and see if that happens. If that happens, there is a possibility of break and retest at this 23K area, which is possible. But if price shocks us all and starts taking off, there's a possibility of if price breaks above here, which is 24,500 area, this area here, I would look to take long positions. So this to me looks really clean to take long at the above here, which is a high probability long position above here. But if you look, just looking at the every time frame, our monthly is still bearish technically. On our weekly, we see a break of structure, which is giving me again bearish indication. On our daily, I again see bearish. So all our time frames are giving me bearish confirmation. So monthly, weekly, daily. Let me check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour is showing me at the moment it's double bottomed here, and price might start pulling up to 23K, where we also again saw the last break of structure. So 23K would be a very important area I would keep an eye on. If we might have the break and retest entry possible. If it doesn't hold this, then I would just patiently wait and see what price does. If it reaches above 24,500 and starts breaking these areas, then around this area 24,500, I'll start taking long positions. But for the short position, I see one scenario is the break and retest. The other scenario would be, let me see if we have any more structure levels. We do have another structure level here, which would be the weekly structure level, another one around this area, which is 21K-ish, 20,800. Because that's not only the another weekly structure point, it's also the last area of the weekly low. So if weekly low breaks here, and this is also if the weekly low breaks here and starts, we see a lower high created somewhere around here or here, and price starts taking down, I might take short positions at 21,000 and 20,800 range. So again, we have three positions. One would be long position above 24,500, break and retest. You need to wait for your confirmations. If you were in the trading class, you'll know what I mean. At 23K. And if you're going to take another position, higher probability short position would be at this area at 20,821K. If price makes a new lower high and then starts breaking below. So that's the three scenarios I would look at on BTC. Right? See how much of a big price gap we see here, right there. So we need to see that we need to see a little bit of these gaps fill up. So that's what I'll do. Just patiently wait. Any questions regarding this on BTC? You have it clear? Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, so we'll go down to Ethereum now. Ethereum. All right, so Ethereum is interesting. We kind of see we have a like what according to the crypto chart, we have 10 days left for the month to close, and this month we haven't seen a lot of volatility, but at the moment we see a lot of buyers rejecting, right? So sellers exhaustion at the top. This is still indicating to me that we might have ways to go below, because the structure does look bearish, and the second indication here is that I see sellers exhaustion on the monthly chart. And if you see the volume, we still need to see some volume kick in here. So this might also could be possible the next lower high on the monthly chart. So gotta wait and see. Let me look down. Yeah, on the weekly also, I think if I draw a trend line over here, if you see that it broke the weekly structure, the weekly structure points. And we still have few hours of the, by the way, even with BTC and ETH, we still have few hours left for the candle to close. If the candle closes something like this with a bearish engulfing, this would give me a little bit indication that maybe sellers are ready to come into the market. So we have an indication there on the weekly. On the daily clearly we have a lot of break of structure. So you see how that structure break happened right at the daily structure point over there. And look at the candle again, it's the same way it's correlated with BTC. You see there are no wicks. So this is a Marubozu candle. We might see price again. Again, we see the previous daily candle have an indecision. There is a possibility again with the same scenario of a break and retest pattern of price. Maybe I would keep an eye out on, let me go down to the lower time frame. Let me go see the 4 hour. So there's a possibility here of, let's call it 1820 area to get retested around this area here. So if this area gets retested and gives me enough confluences to take the trade to short, I might. But if price doesn't hold this area, we don't see a break and retest pattern. But if price breaks above, what I would see here is that if price breaks above, I will want price to go up, find support here, and then take above. So there are two ways this area can play out. We can see a break and retest. Price can come, retest and drop, or price can break above, find support, and then take off. So there are two scenarios here I'll be looking at this 18, almost at the 1845, 1850 area. So I would draw a range here. If you remember, I always say that price, the supply demand is a zone, not a specific price. So we need to see price come around this area here. So I would mark off this area from 1820 to 1855 and see what price does around this area. So that's two scenarios here. Let me look if we have anything else. The other thing would be, again, if price breaks this low here, which is, so if price breaks below here, finds resistance and drops, that would be the second short position scenario. So again, to confirm, we have three scenarios. One would be the break and retest of the 1845 area and then drop. The second short position scenario would be the lows breaking here and we see a retest above and drop. And if it comes to the long position, we see the structure point here. The structure point breaks and this area breaks here. And if price goes above and finds support at that 1845 instead, we might see price push up further. So that would be very interesting. I think another higher probability long position would be above here at this weekly supply demand area at 1950 as well. So you can maybe split your risk, take if price breaks above, put a little bit of a long position here, and then the second long position area would be around here. So you gotta adapt and react and see what price does. So these are the scenarios I'm looking at with Ethereum. Any questions regarding this? Is this clear enough?
Yeah, all clear.
All right.
Yeah, man, all good.
So let's look at Ethereum and BTC. Ethereum BTC is quite interesting. It's kind of the volatility is there, but from our last week technicals, we didn't see the range break completely. Let me go down to the monthly and let me take a look.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a trend there forming, but is that a head and shoulders I see there?
Yeah, we see a head and shoulders, but it's kind of invalidated it with this bullish candle here, because naturally I would like to see price. Let me find the tool. Where is it? Yep, here. So if price broke below here, I would like to see it find support at the neckline here and drop, but it kind of broke above and also broke the last structure point here, which is this area here. It broke the last structure point. So at the moment, kind of giving me a little bit of bullish indication, but this candle right here, I don't like this candle here. It's kind of rejecting. We're seeing kind of seller's exhaustion. So I don't like this monthly candle at the moment. So I need to wait and see what happens here.
That could be like an ABC correction, the Elliott wave thing, no? Because it looks like on the way up, that was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, possible. At least I don't trade Elliott wave. So for me, it's very, yeah. So for me, it's very like, I like price action. So what else is, can we see? We see a nice clean price dropping. We see accumulation here with consolidation, and we see price taking above here on the weekly chart. And at the moment, we see weekly being nice and bullish. And we also see the weekly's last structure point. You see the weekly last structure point break. You see that retest happening right there. So this is giving me still a lot of bullish indication. I need to see price maybe breaking below here to maybe switching my bias, which is around this 0.0725.
I think fundamentally though, like it's very much in the favor of ETH. So I can see this going very bullish.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of capital. I mentioned in the network as well. Like I think especially with the fork coming in on Ethereum, we're going to see a lot of capital going into Ethereum up to the merge.
When is it? When is the merge happening? Like mid-September?
Yeah, it was September. Was it September 14th? I think. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, it was around about then. It was out or 16th.
You got like 2 weeks of hype, and then
yeah. So there's going to be a lot of people who are effectively just getting it so that they get the new proof of work ETH, and that's just going to dump straight away. I don't see any real incentive at all, especially like when you hear sort of things in the news, especially the EU talking about the plans to move BTC from proof of work to proof of stake. Like these are interesting ones, but I don't know, like the miners, obviously they really lose out, and those that have bought mining rigs and haven't really followed the market, it's almost like they're clinging on. It'd be interesting to see who does develop. It might just become some sort of dark shadow network.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So yeah. So the fundamentals are supporting the bullish bias here. If this monthly candle as well closes above this area here, I'll still be bullish with Ethereum. So I need to wait and see with that. Weekly, I mentioned the structure breaking. We see the structure break and retest already happen. So this weekly candle here it's not a bearish engulfing or any sorts, right? So this is just a pullback, a retracement. On the daily though, we see we kind of see double tops in a way. We see price structure break here, and we see price drop, right? So now I will just wait and see what happens. I want to see if price retests that area here, the neckline of the M formation here. If price comes above here and then takes a drop, that would be interesting. But that would be at least for me, just looking at the higher time frames, I think this might just be a retracement. If price breaks below here, which is for me is very interesting, if price breaks below here, which is also the weekly low, 0.0725 600, if price breaks below here, I would take a short position somewhere around here. And if price breaks up, gives me a break and retest pattern here, I'll take a lower probability short position, which means I might split my risk. Yeah, so if I'm looking at that of just the short scenarios, this would be, but I preferably would want to take long positions, and the long positions would occur above, because we see structure point here, we see the weekly structure point above. So the higher probability long position would be at 0.082. So if price can break above here at 0.082, that's long positions for me. But the range here, actually you can take a long position at this area here at 0.08, but the range here is not that big, because if you took a long position, say around here, the amount of points or pips or the percentage you're looking to gain is too short. So the risk doesn't make sense to me. So I would take the long position above the weekly break and the supply demand area of the daily. Yeah. So is that clear? Long position, break and retest, and again a short position at the at this area here. So is that clear with the ETH BTC?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let me look at BTC dominance once.
Ooh.
BTC dominance is falling, which is again supporting that Ethereum long positions. That makes sense. Yeah. So so at the moment, this is also supporting our BTC bias as well. We were talking about short positions on BTC because BTC was breaking down in every time frame. So this is kind of supporting that as well. And we see how on the monthly as well, we see the break of structure of this area. So so that's kind of supporting the bias. But if this support here that we also mentioned this last week, if this support here at 40%, let's call it 39.5, this area breaking here would, I think, be very critical. I think this might be a very big break because I think historically this is the lows of BTC. So if price comes, I will be very interested to see what price does at this 35% area. On the weekly though, we see nice clean bearish structure. Yeah, we see nice bearish structure created. So I need to now see what price does. At the moment, I'm seeing bearish volume die. You see that bearish volume kind of slowly closing off, and I think this might close as a small bullish doji, which might give me indication that price might want to pull back. If price wants to pull back, I would see what happens around this area here at 43%. If price pulls back here and it kind of creates another lower high, one second, another lower high here, and then drops, or if price breaks above here, then my bias on the weekly would switch. If the bias on the weekly switches,
Like based on that, like you could see a bit of a bullish scenarios for the alts, while BTC is okay.
Yeah, at the moment it makes sense, but I want to wait and see if the weekly candle here closes, because if the weekly candle kind of closes with the doji, we might see a light pull back here. So that would be interesting.
I normally see that like with like you get some between the Sunday, Monday, you get the Monday bullishness at the start of the week, and then it sort of corrects itself.
Yeah, exactly. I have few guys annotating on my chart here. Aaron, can you?
It's because someone with a Russian name, and I think that's a hammer and sickle he's trying to draw.
Yeah, I don't get it. What does it mean? Yeah.
It looks like he's trying to draw a hammer and sickle. I just looked at the people. There's someone with eyes gone now. Yeah, the Russian name drawing a hammer and sickle.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
That was gonna
that's
be like
that's
a
what it was. I
crocodile.
looked at the Russian name and it made sense. Like it looks like a poor attempt at a hammer and sickle.
Yeah. Aaron, can you block these guys?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
annotating on the chart.
I don't know. So I've removed one of them. I don't know how to get rid of the. There's even a Chinese one coming in now. We're actually being invaded.
We're gonna get stars all over the chart next.
Yeah.
I don't know. Open, close, and open your screen.
I'll close and open 1 second. Yeah.
Politics.
that's
No
that.
political views
There
on
you
the
go.
stream, thanks.
Anyways, that's what I'm seeing with the weekly on the daily as well. I just want to wait and see what happens. Obviously, we don't trade. We can't trade. I don't think we can trade BTC dominance, right? We just can base our bias on the BTC dominance. It's like a Dixie chart, like DXY. So that's what I'm looking at the moment with the biases with crypto pairs. Any questions regarding this before I start moving into commodities and forex?
Hi, MM. How are you?
Hi,
guys.
good, Mr.
Yeah.
How are
Can you have a look at BNB BTC, please?
BNB BTC?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. Let me find how to block this guy, man. This guy's annotating all over my chart. 1 second.
Who is it?
Either some Russian dude or someone. 1 second.
There's another one.
Nice. We got trolls around here. 1 second. Okay, so I think I can disable annotations. There you go. Yep. So it's disabled. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me look at BA. You want to look at BNB?
Yes,
Right,
please.
yeah. BNB with USDT or some another pair?
BNB BTC.
BNB BTC. Okay. BNB BTC. Bitcoin BTC. Which broker do you trade with? Is it Binance?
Yes.
Yeah, Binance. This is fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me look. This is just a rocket ship. It's in price discovery. Let me look. Let me quickly mark out a level here. Let me see.
This is an interesting pair to be trading.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. It's extremely bullish here. We kind of see that retest happen in a way. Not yet. Let me see. Quite interesting. 1 second. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so I think by just quickly looking at this, obviously monthly is rocket ship. It's a lot of bullish volume in the market. This makes sense because the BTC dominance is also dropping. Also on the weekly, we see price pulling back here. Price actually kind of finding a retest area around this area here. Didn't completely retest, but it kind of retested this break here. I think on the lower time frame it might be more visible. So if I'm going to take a long position on this, the position might occur actually quite soon at this 0.01395 area, this area here. If you can see this area here, I would take a long position. Let me look down on the daily time frame. 1 second. On the daily is clearly it has violated the daily structure. So monthly is bullish, weekly is bullish still, and the daily is now confirmed bullish because it broke that last structure area here. And also it broke through, it also gave us a retest. You see that? You guys give us a retest. So we are looking bullish here. So I would now wait and see what price does here. Does it break up? Does it break the last weekly high and the weekly structure high? And if it gives us a retest here, this would be a nice long position area around this area here. So this is what I'll be looking at. This is a nice area here. And then if you want to take another long position, maybe split your risk, maybe look at the total highs at the top, which is around 0.014225, let's call it. So if we can take a long position here and here, that would be interesting. So take a lower risk position here, higher risk position there. Let me look at down in the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, 4-hour time frame, we see nice bullish candle. Look at that. That's a lot of bullish volume. So now I'm just going to wait and see what happens here. But if you are looking to short this, which I would preferably not want to short because there's a lot of bullish volume. But if you want to short this, the short positions would occur at the last structured level here. So if price can break this area here, break this, find a retest there, and then you can take a short position. But this would be a lower probability short position. At this moment, I would just look to take longs with BNB and BTC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that clear, Misam? Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, so that's clear. Let me look if there's anything else I was missing out. Yeah. I think that's clear. Yeah. Here you could take a structure break at this area here, but this is just a 4-hour structure break. It would be very risky to take. But yeah, this is what I would look at. I would preferably take long positions. Yep. All right. Any more questions, anyone with crypto before I start moving into other pairs? Yeah, clear. Okay. Okay, let's move into GBP USD. GBP USD has been tanking as well. Okay, let's see. We see the current monthly candle. I think this might, if it closes this way, or actually engulfs the previous candle, that would be confirm. I mean, at the moment, it's clearly we have bearish structure, right? So this candle closure here would be very interesting. It would confirm our bearish bias even further if it closes below the previous monthly candle. Yeah. So we are bearish on the monthly. On the weekly candle, we do see again nice clear bearish structure. Let's see. You see that? We kind of see that head and shoulders in a way form, but it didn't hold. We saw price reject here, and you see the last week's candle, previous week's candle reject that area, which I think we mentioned also in this in the weekly technicals, that is giving me a lot of selling pressure. And look how the selling pressure kicked in this week. Yeah, we see how price broke down, and not only broke down, it broke the structure areas as well. While here, you see the structure area breaking. So structure broke there. On the daily, let me see on the daily what we do. Yep. So on the daily, I would wait and see what happens here, because we saw price just tank 2 days in a row, and it broke that last daily structure as well. So I might wait and see if price does something like this. If it can come up, find some form of resistance at this area at 1.20500, which is a quarter point. If it can find support here, this would be a nice break and retest entry to hopefully continue below. 1 second, where is it? Yeah. So that would be one. It's the break and retest here below. And then let me look at this in the lower time frames and see if we have any more details to this. At the moment, we can see prices kind of rejecting that area and it's kind of starting to pull up. This might be a retracement. We need to wait and see what price does. Yeah. So we need to see what price does at 1.20500. A nice and break retest entry can occur here. So that I need to wait and see what happens. So that's scenario one with short positions. Another scenario would be very quick. If you see the weekly time frame, you see the weekly lows. Let me actually move the weekly highs and lows. I haven't moved it. 1 second. So that would be the weekly high. The weekly low would be here. The weekly low is also, I think, the daily low. Yeah, the previous daily low. So two confluences, it would be if this area here could break, which is a nice level, 1.80 flat. Yeah, so 1.80 area, if this can break around this area here, Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know. Yeah,
Not
so
about
yeah,
that.
so if you can find support here at 1.80 and sorry, find resistance at 1.80 and drop, that would be a nice position here. Yeah. So 1.80, 1.80 short positions or break and retest at that 1.20500 would be very interesting to me. Yeah, but because all of my time frames here are indicating bearish momentum. Yeah, so only one thing I would keep an eye out if you want to take long positions, it would be a lower probability long position is obviously at this block, everyone. If you have any questions, just type it out on the chat. All right, so we have two scenarios: the break and retest 1.20500, the break of this last low at weekly 1.180, two nice high probability areas. I would maybe split my risk, maybe put a little bit of a risk here and higher risk at this area here. So that would be nice and interesting. If price doesn't hold 1.20500, breaks that structure, and instead of finding resistance, it finds support here. That would be a lower probability long position. Yeah. So you need to manage your risk accordingly with that. So these are the only two areas I'm interested with GU. Any questions regarding GU? You can type it out here if you want. Yeah, clear? Okay. All right. So let me move into GBP JPY. GBP JPY has been wild the last month. Let me look 1 second. Yeah, so we look at the candle, look at the current candle. This is the indecision candle. Yeah. So indecision candle, and it's still stuck inside that range here. It's not closing below that 1.161750 area. Yeah, so it's very, very, very stubborn. And we still need to see something happen here. This kind of looks like consolidation to me. So still need to wait and see what happens on the monthly time frame. Weekly time frame also, I don't like that candle. You see that indecision candle on the weekly time frame? That I don't like that candle at all. Let me see. Yeah, you can see structure is nice and clearly bearish. Yeah, but at the moment it still couldn't break that last low and still close a little bit below. So this is still an indecision candle to me. So we need to wait and see what happens with weekly, but weekly is bearish technically. Yeah, on the daily time frame is interesting. The daily time frame we see, let's see, on the daily time frame we mentioned previously, this pattern is kind of occurring a lot. Notice I think we did this before as well. Here you see, 1 second, let me put myself in drawing mode. You see how there's a double bottom here, double tops here. Again, we see double tops here. Sorry, double tops there, double tops there. Yeah, and see how price doesn't, after making those double tops, the neckline got retested previously from the previous weeks. I was mentioning this. See how the neckline got retested, and again is making another double top. So now it's interesting. It's giving me again bearish indication. And look at the previous daily candle closure. We see that nice rejection towards the top, seller's exhaustion. So the daily does support our bearish bias. Yeah. So I need to wait and see what happens on the. So I think if you want to take a longer, higher probability short position, it will be around this area here at 16700, 750 area, a quarter point. Yeah. So a QP area would be around this area, which would also be a break of the July low if it can break below here. I would add, maybe split my risk, maybe put one position here and maybe put a next position at the weekly low break and this supply demand 160 area breaking. 160 area has been a big area that I've been keeping my eye on. If 160 area breaks, I think we might see a lot of bearish volume kick into the market. So two scenarios, one scenario split into two positions. So with this area breaking here, the QP point, quarter point, and then 160 breaking would be very interesting. On the 4-hour time frame, I mean, this pattern is occurring everywhere. If you again see on the 4-hour time frame, what do you see? Double tops. Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the group on Friday, and you see how the double tops neckline, the M formation neckline, got perfectly retested there. You see that? You see that rejection towards the top. So this is again giving me bearish bias. So with GJ at the moment, I think it's not quite ready to take trades yet. I just need to wait and see how the new weekly opens and look at the new daily candle formations. But at the moment, the best course of action here would be to just patiently wait and see if price can come below there to these levels here. If price if you want to take a long position, it would be a little bit quite risky. But if you want to take a long position, it would be again at this break of the neckline. Yeah. So this area has been a very stubborn area that hasn't been breaking, right? So if it breaks, that would give me a nice indication on taking long positions at this 163,500 area, which is again next to the weekly high. So that would be a long position, but much lower probability long position, because we need our multi-time frame correlation to be in effect. Yeah. Yeah. So at the moment, with GJ, I would just patiently wait and see what price wants to do at these areas here below, because we do again, not only that, we see price gaps at 160, 870 price gap again here. So we need to see if price fills out these areas and what it wants to do here. Yeah. So this would be important to see. So at this moment at GJ, I'm not interested in trading it. I would just patiently wait and see what happens. Yeah. Any questions regarding GJ? Yeah, clear. All right.
Like you say, because we're going through a bit of consolidation now, are we predicting a big move once we break the indecision?
Yeah, usually when it comes to consolidation, we see price as in like an accumulation phase, right? It's accumulating orders. So after a consolidation phase, we might see a big move break towards the downside or the upside. So at this moment in time, it kind of looks like it might break below, because for me, with this, not only the technicals, the fundamentals also make sense, because British pound is weaker. They have already announced a recession and energy cuts in the last quarter of this year, and JPY being a safe haven asset, a lot of money might be flowing to JPY. So shorts are the fundamental shorts also make sense, right? So fundamental is supporting our technical bias here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
One more thing you guys can maybe keep an eye on is this red line that you see here is the yearly trend line. Yeah. So the yearly trend line has been resisting. You see how the wicks price keeps coming there and not breaking these areas. So if price might even break this yearly trend line, I think it will be mad amount of volume coming into the market. But at the moment, it's finding support on that yearly trend line. So that will be very interesting to me to see what happens at the yearly trend line as well. Yeah. So you can maybe mark out your yearly trend line and see what it does. So that's GJ. Let me move into gold. Gold has been very interesting as well. You look at the gold candle at the moment. Yeah, you see a lot of sellers exhaustion towards the top. Look at that nice wick. So that's obviously confirming our bearish bias, and still we see that still see bearish structure technically. Yeah, the reason is because it broke the last structure lows. You see that how the structure lows broke. Look at not only the structure lows breaking, you see how the price perfectly came up and retested that those lows. So that's nice and clean retest there on the monthly. Let me look into the weekly. The weekly candle is very interesting here on gold. We see nice Maribuzu candle, right? Maribuzu candle means a lot of volume. Look at the wicks. That means the price opened here and the sellers were in control throughout the whole week pretty much. So nice clean Maribuzu candle showing the bearish volume. So we are clearly bearish here on the weekly time frame. Now the daily time frame. Let me look into the daily time frame. So the daily time frame, we see structural lows. I think it was on the previous technical call that we mentioned the structure breaking here would be nice short positions to be taken, which happened. At the moment, we don't see much of a retracement. Price has been crashing, and it kind of makes sense because if you look at previous history here and see how price has been crashing there, we see price did not have much of a retracement. So there's a possibility price might be pulling all the way to these areas here. Yeah, these areas here at 1725. So just looking at this at the moment, only thing you can maybe do here is let me look into the lower time frames, maybe other 4 hour. I think if these areas here break at the 1745, which is also a break of weekly low, break of the daily low as well. So if this breaks here, I would see maybe a lot of bearish volume kick in here at 1745. That would be a very interesting area for me to take a short position on. 1 second. Yep. Even the daily candle closure, look how nice that bearish volume is, right? Supporting that previous historical data that we have. So now we can just wait. I think gold shorts at the moment look really clean to me. Yeah. So we need to wait and see what price does here. If we can get nice confluences, I think I might take a short position at 1745. I think it might be a nice high probability short position, but I need to wait and see what happens. But if price again starts retracing, if price starts retracing, I would maybe see it retrace to, I would be interested to see what happens at this area here at 1790. If 1790 can hold, that would be interesting. Might take a lower probability, actually a lower probability short position at 1790. Yeah, you see that? You look at that area where there's a lot of liquidity. We don't see price, the price gap hasn't been retested. So this will be interesting. If price comes up there, I might take a break and retest position there. But if price can now breaks above here and starts breaking these areas at the highs here, I would take a long position above here. This is an 1800 area, big psychological number, big ground psychological number, which is also our weekly high. Yeah. So if this area breaks here, long positions will make sense to me. But at the moment, every time frame is supporting the bearish bias. Yeah. And the biggest area that I am very interested to see if gold ever reaches is the 1680 area, which is a multi-month support area. You see that how price has always come to the 1680 area and rejected. If price breaks this area, I think we'll have a lot of bearish momentum come in. Yeah. So that's very interesting to me. So monthly, weekly, daily, everything is giving me supporting the bearish bias for me at the moment. So I would take only short positions at the moment. I would be very interested to take short positions. Yeah. Any questions regarding gold? I think it's kind of obvious. If you look at the chart, it's kind of obvious why it makes sense. Even look at the 4-hour structure, nice lower lows, lower highs. Yeah. Any questions regarding gold? Yeah, clear?
No.
Okay. All right. So let me look at, actually, I want to see, you know how just a week, 2 weeks back, we started seeing people be like, oh, okay, recession is not here. Price is retracing. Look at how price, if you notice my last weekly technical lines, you see this blue line that I marked out here. It's a very strong support. You see how price perfectly found support at that area there. And you see how prices again shot up. Look at that. This is a weekly candle, by the way. Look at how the price closed with the Maribuzu candle towards the top. And I think now this week we might see the highest breaking here on the last weekly structure, which is big. We might see this might affect all the pairs. Yeah. So I need to see also the monthly candle close. At the moment, the monthly candle is also giving me a lot of bullish momentum. So these highs here, I'm very interested to see at 108, yeah, 108, 109 area, what it does. You look at the daily structure, nice push up. So if there is a recession, as I say, there's no recession, then why is the dollar still pushing up, right? You need to ask yourself that. There's a lot of manipulation in the media regarding the recession and changing the definition of a recession and all this BS. But if you look at the charts, it's kind of clear what price wants to do. And if you guys are new here, you can also, I've mentioned this again and again, is that look at how the yearly trend line broke at the March when the Fed raised the rates, right? So that itself was a big indication on a recession. So we need to wait and see what happens now if these highs break. If these highs break, I think we might be seeing the next area over here would be this area here at break here, this big, this is a 2002 resistance, yeah, 2002. If this area breaks here, you see there's a possibility of seeing this much volume kick in to the market. You see at the moment how that volume, you see these big bearish candles there. And if you notice these candles at the moment here, you see how these are all just bullish candles pretty much. So we might see that kind of momentum occur. This was, I think, .com era bubble area. So that would be very interesting to me. Any questions regarding technicals? I'll just quickly touch upon fundamentals before ending the call. Any questions? Yeah,
Just a
clear?
quick one regarding what you've just said about the .com. So there's a crash there because people are investing in more internet companies. Is that what happened? To pull in the dollar, like they were, like how does that correlate with the internet bubble, the crash of the dollar?
That it's simple. This has to do with again has to do with our inflation. The dot-com bubble area was interesting because we had a lot of companies, a lot of scam companies. So we had a big stock bubbles, right? Big bubbles in the market. So there are a lot of people, everyone claiming to be the next big thing, and a lot of people started investing in it. And eventually, when all of these companies started going bust one by one, we started seeing the dollar crash. Yeah. So this is very interesting, this area. This would be you need to keep an eye out on that. But for me, my main reference point at the moment is the Nixon era area here, which is this 19. You see this area here. This is very interesting to me. The 1985 area. This to me is what my reference point is. More than this, I think there are a lot of more fundamentals at play, even more than the 2008 financial crisis and the dot-com bubble break. So for me, this is very interesting here. I want to see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So with next week with fundamentals, that what I'm looking at is the main thing is with Tuesday. If you're someone who likes trading euro, you might keep an eye out on PMI, which is the purchasing manager index. Yeah. So basically, it's the purchasing managers of these industries, right? Manufacturing industry, they report the numbers. So these are red folders. Red folders mean high impact news. So GPP, this would be very interesting to me. On I want to look at what GPP does, the numbers here. And if you look at the numbers, it's still forecasted to come a little bit lower. Yeah. But if the expectation falls lower than the forecast, sorry, the actual number fall lower than the forecast, which is the expectation, we might see a lot of GPP weakness. Yeah. So keep an eye out on these folders here. Again, also with US dollar, the same thing. Keep an eye out, because if you look at the number, it's supposed to come in higher than the previous month. So you need to see if price, the actual statistics, is it the same as the expectation? Is it higher than the expectation, or is it lower than the expectation? If it's higher than the expectation, we might see US dollar rally further. Yeah. And again, keep an eye out on, you can keep a small eye. This is just something I would keep an eye on, but not something that I would take very heavily into account. But new home sales would be interesting to see, because if you see the number, it's supposed to come in lower than the previous month. So there's a lot of mixed and conflicting statistics going on at the moment with US dollar. Again, core durable orders, goods. This would be interesting to see. Pending home sales. So I'll mark out this area, this time. Yeah. So big one here on Thursday is preliminary GDP. So this would give us, see, if you look at the forecast, look at the previous number, it's supposed to come in a little bit stronger, a bit stronger. So we need to wait and see what the actual expectation is. I think this would dictate a lot of momentum upwards or downwards with USD. So we need to wait and see what happens with that. And the main thing also, again, unemployment claims this week. So a lot of fundamentals at play this week, a lot of fundamentals. So we have this, we have our unemployment claims, keep an eye out on. We also have Jackson Hole's, the meeting. This occurs for 2 days. This is usually when all the big financial institutions, central bankers, big names in the industries, right? They all come and meet, they have a big meeting in Kansas City. So over here, there might be some comments that they slip to the press that might be that might indicate on what they want to do with monetary policy. So the comments that they make on these days on Thursday and Friday during this event here, Jackson Hole, would be quite interesting to keep an eye on. Yeah. So this would be interesting to see as well. And then again on Friday we have core PCE price index. Yeah. So it's basically a personal consumption expenditure, right, of the personal consumers. Big important number to see how the personal consumers have been reacting. So it's supposed to come in lower than the previous month. And we also have our central banker Jerome Powell speak on Friday. Yeah, so this would be interesting on Friday. So at this moment, this week, we see a lot of fundamentals at play, a lot of fundamentals. For me, the most important one, at least, would be the GDP here, to maybe look at what's happening. This might affect the gold a lot. Usually GTB numbers affect gold a lot. So keep an eye out on this. And a lot of comments from Jackson Hole would be very interesting to see what they want to do. And that might indicate what they want to do with the September Fed meeting. Yeah. So I think we're clear. Any questions regarding fundamentals before we stop the call?
No, that's brilliant.
Yeah. All right. So we're done in it. Yeah.